Does anyone have a question? Yes.
I kind of have two questions. One is for Aaron, and the other one's for the both of you.
Okay.
The first question is, you know, in the original Fullmetal, you know, you were all Alphons, you know, but then in Brotherhood, you were eventually young Van Hohenheim. Was that like a big difference for you? Was it kind of weird because you weren't Alphons, or?
The difference between Alphons and Hohenheim, yes, that was kind of strange. Well, I mean, I'm only young Hohenheim, so I kind of just separated the experiences entirely, because, you know, Hohenheim is such a man, and Alphonse is such a boy. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Hohenheim in the terms of, I think he's probably the oldest character that I've ever done. Like, even though it was like a younger flashback version of him, it was still the oldest character I've done. Especially after he gets his freedom through nefarious means that weren't, you know, his own, because there's, you know, a little black guy in a jar that kills people for him. For a slave. And then, you know, he becomes like a master with his training and all that business. And then, like, I was just thinking about the game Fable whenever he comes out of that, and I was like, okay, sexy hero pose voice. So just like, yes, I am now a hero. It's just like you just adopt the deepest normal voice that you could do, and that was the gist of it. Yeah.
And then
was fun.
I did have a second question for both of you.
Yeah.
I know you guys like just finished a movie for Fullmetal. Do you think there's going to be another one? Like, not that I love the show. I'm just like, do you think it's ever, like, if there is going to be official end, or is it just going to like go on and like we're going to bask in this beautiful glory?
Well, I can tell you that the Brotherhood series followed the manga, and the mangaka ended the story. So I don't see there being more unless more is written. You know, we all know that there are some series that they just keep making anime, you know, and it kind of gets dumb, and, you know, kind of gets stupid, but they just try to keep wringing as much money out of it as they can. But
evil power greater than all the others these heroes have faced. Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly, you know. Yeah, those kind of shows. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is awesome, but there are some long-form anime series that, you know, they kind of outlived their impact. And I'll be honest with you, when we finished the first Fullmetal, we talked about that a lot. We talked about how, even though it was sad that it was over, we were glad that it ended strong. We were glad that it ended with you going, oh, but what about, you know, what about Winry, and what about getting back to your own, to Amestris, to your own world, and what about this and that? So it ended really kind of like wanting more, with you wanting more. So we were glad that it ended that way. As the poet wrote, not with a bang, but a whimper, you know, like some things don't end with a bang, they kind of just peter out. So when Brotherhood came along, the first concern was, oh no, what if they mess it up? What if it turns dumb, and, you know, and it's nowhere near as powerful as the original was, you know? But it was a completely different show, following the manga story, and knowing that it was following the manga, the woman, Hiromo Arakawa, who wrote the story, who created Fullmetal, she ended the manga. I mean, she wrote it with an end in mind, where she resolved all the things that we wanted to see resolved. So it ended. The cool thing about the movie, the feature film, is that the Brotherhood feature film, and it will probably be in theaters. So you guys get out. Yeah, get out and support it, you know what I mean? Let the anime voice be heard, okay? Let them see what kind of an awesome fan base the anime fans are. But it's called The Secret Star of Milos. And the cool thing about it is, it takes place, it's an entire story of its own that takes place somewhere in the Fullmetal world. So it's not dependent upon Brotherhood. It doesn't continue Brotherhood. It's not dependent on the original series. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't extend past the original. It's just its own separate adventure. And did you do anything in it?
No.
It's really beautiful too. The very feature film-like. You know, it's a little bigger and more epic than they were able to do on the series. But you know what? I want to tell you guys something too. Aaron and I don't get to see each other anymore because the majority of the time we saw each other was at conventions, and so we don't get to do those much anymore. But I want to tell you guys something. I get asked this all the time. Everybody involved in Fullmetal was supremely troubled when Brotherhood was announced because we all knew that Aaron had grown up and that Aaron didn't sound like he did as Al, which is just, you know, that's normal, that's life, there's nothing to do about it. In fact, I was telling him last night, Aaron, Mike, Anakin. Anyway, I was telling him last night that there were a lot of, you guys all know, if you know anime, you know that in the original Japanese, girls voice young boys a lot of the time. And so when they were auditioning for the first Fullmetal Alchemist, they auditioned a lot of girls. They auditioned some of the best girl voice actors Funimation has, like Colleen and Monica Rial, and I think Lucy Christian. I mean, good actresses. And they decided to use Aaron because he was actually a little boy, just like Al, and he was an amazingly talented little boy because he'd already done some shows like Fruits Basket and
Fruits Basket. That's literally the only show I've done, technically.
But he'd proven that he could do this, even at his age. He was a really good reader. Yes, please. And so they ended up, oh good, thanks. So they ended up casting him, which was, you know, a bold move. And you know what else? And I don't think Aaron will mind me saying this because he understands it being 11, 12, 13. One of the hardest things about voice acting is matching the mouth flaps.
Yes.
And acting at the same time.
I just have to.
Exactly. Alphonse had no mouth flaps. He was a suit of armor. So it worked out perfectly. See what I'm saying? If Al had mouth flaps and was as big a role as he was, that would have been tough. They probably would have cast a grown-up to do it because it would just be too much, you know what I mean? It would just be too hard for a boy to do that. Or to ask him to do it. It's just not realistic. But that's how he got to play that role, and he knocked it out of the park. I mean, he was absolutely. I mean, we all know it. We all know it. So when Brotherhood was announced, it was like, more Fullmetal, sweet! And then we're like, oh no. Half the Brothers team has a deeper voice than me now. And so we were all, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Maxie. Maxie is amazing as Al in Brotherhood. But I want you guys to know that everyone in the show absolutely adored Aaron and were so proud of his work. And it was really a hard thing when we had to acknowledge that he's grown up now and didn't sound like that anymore. So we're glad, certainly, you know, Mike McFarland looked for a place to get him into the show because he definitely wanted him to be a part of it. But I want you guys to know that you know, because people have asked me a lot, you know, how do you feel about Aaron not being able to play out in Brotherhood? Well, I mean, like I said, and I'll say it in front of all of you, I love him like a little brother. And it was very sad to think. And I thought, man, they better make a good choice. They better find somebody to do a good job with his character because, like, that could sink, you know, the series. And because everybody loves Aaron and loves what he did with the original Al, and so it was a tough decision. And they did a good job, and Maxie did a great job with it. But you know, Aaron will forever be in my heart will be Al. He'll be my little brother. So that's all I can say right now. Oh, that sounds. Take a question.